industry and sort of, you know, traditional TV. We've had a bumpy old 5-6 years. Everyone's sort of like, what's going? It really is just starting to feel now, with technology and like better bandwidth. It just feels like everything's just starting to get, you know, when you're just chirping, and it's just not quite getting through. It doesn't. Even the last 2 months feels different than the last 10 months, which is the difference. You know, it's just. So I think it's quite exciting times now. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep on the ball, because to be honest, it's very tiring. And it's funny, like if you go through my production company, and I've been making my own stuff for the last 13 years. You know, we've got a drama department, we've got a radio department, we've got a documentary campaign department, and you know, what's really interesting is, and they're all wonderful and I love them dearly, but if you go to the FoodTube department, it's like a newsroom. It's bustling. There's just like young whippersnappers, like just climbing over each other trying to get stuff done. You've never seen anything like it. So it's. I'm just trying to make that model work at the moment. I haven't got there yet, and it all sounds glamorous, but it is very exciting. And also, I'm not knocking traditional broadcasts or traditional mediums of advertising. Absolutely not. You know, one of my friends, Stephen Mirren, runs the Capital Radio Group, and local radio has never been more appropriate and more exciting. So, like, I mean, again, it's about authenticity and relationship. So, local papers, really important. Local radio, really important. And then, of course, scaling it up to national, really important. But then you throw in like complementary things that work, you know, with content or competitions. It just gets. I just think the whole creative cycle becomes more joined up. And I think, generally speaking, when things are joined up, you just get a better share of voice or stomach or whatever you want to call it. And ultimately, my goal, regardless of all this stuff I yap about, ultimately my goal is how do we get more people cooking, and how do we get them to enjoy cooking more fresh food that has a good chance of making them have an extra 10 years on the planet. And honestly, that is primarily mine and my team's passion and drive, and how we do it and execute it, whether it's working with kids or working with new talent or working with brands to promote something that's not bad for you, you know, or taking something that's a treat and sort of saying, well, actually, this is a really good way to do it, and sort of show people what balanced fresh food looks like. I mean, I think that's what we're trying to do, really. So it's exciting. I don't really think about retiring. I definitely think about more quality time, you know, and maybe having, you know, I think you can always I mean, I'm very happy with the balance of my life at the moment, holiday and kids and all that sort of stuff, but, you know, I'd like to think that when I'm 50 and 60, I'm still like a bit of a tearaway, and hopefully develop myself and haven't let myself down, where I'm still trusted and can do different things. And I think, you know, the stuff I have permission to do now is very different than 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And, you know, the way I go about campaigns now is still different. You know, like 10 years ago, I was quite anti-KFC and McDonald's and this, that and the other. And actually, you know, you start looking at brands like McDonald's UK, and they've been incredibly pioneering in the last 10 years. So everything's changing, do you know what I mean? You can't just keep knocking or doing. So I'd like to think that, A, there's a bit more steam in me yet. B, it's not an on-off button. I'd like to think that I can go on. Also, the statistics of men dying within 3 years of retirement is quite high. So I'm kind of thinking, if I can hang around this planet as long as possible, I'll just keep bloody working. But I mean, I do think it's on FoodTube, one of our most successful talent, who gets hundreds of thousands of views on his videos, is Gennaro Contaldo and Antonio Carluccio. I mean, they're about 1 million years old, you know. They sort of waddle around the place, they don't know what's going on, but they're incredible. And Gennaro's like, he just gets that it's just a conversation, and it's no different than him physically. So he's Instagramming, he's Facebooking, like he's doing it himself, and like he spells it wrong and gets it all clunked, but it doesn't matter because his audience love him. So I want to be like Gennaro. I want to be like him. I want to go on.